someone need it?
Inga. And she asked ASPCC and Nicole said.
We have ordered one. We don't have it yet, but Naho had them. So Nicole or Josh need to figure that out. Yeah, or CPSO. CPSO, Campus Public Safety, can let Inga in. Okay, and
do you want to lock it?
Okay, so I'm not totally sure what's playing, but they're all in there. They're all in there.
Thanks for
One is playing right now.
This is really
okay. So that's.
Do you see Felisa came prepared?
my list.
Nice. So I'm going to play the song first to announce the, and we can think of.
Okay.
Hello, Southeast. Can you hear me? Welcome to Multicultural Radio Hour today, and we have two guests. One is Felisa from SEUIU, and it represents Service Employee International Union, and she is marvelous. She just gave us a wonderful speech earlier, and we have our second guest, Jace from Women Resource Center, and both of them are going to be our guests today, and we are going to interview Felisa, and she will tell us more detailed story. Okay, so before we start our program, let's hear one of the songs. Felisa, do you want to share why you picked this song?
This is I Need a Dollar by Aloe Black. After recently working on an increase to the minimum wage, I feel like it's a very appropriate song for now.
Next time, if we raise our minimum wage, it will be $1. Let's hear about that. So I heard a story about your first boycott, about the burger. So do you encourage everyone to boycott anything if they think that's not fair or that's something they
That's
can
a good
do?
question.
Strategies.
Yeah, no, actually. I think that it really has to be part of a larger campaign, and it has to be a coordinated effort to have an impact. And I think that if you were going to take action, it has to be part of a larger campaign to win something.
So we can talk about that after music, and you can give more advice for students. How to start a campaign or how to like organize a event like that.
Sure. And maybe a little bit about what is a movement, like what is a action, what are different strategies that people use.
Okay.
You have to be in a union. I think the idea is
I just was waiting for the song.
Yeah,
Is the song too loud?
No, it's perfect.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was like, great music. I was like,
hey, Mallory.
hi. Well, welcome. You're our guest today.
And this is Felisa Higgins. This is Mallory, who works here at the Multicultural Center.
Nice to meet you, Mallory.
Assessment diva.
Oh, okay.
I do assessments so they can just keep getting more money because I prove how awesome they are. You know? I do my best to prove how awesome.
They're pretty awesome.
Was this your music choice? I love it. I was like, coming in, I was like, yeah, I could hear it coming down outside, you know. Nice. Welcome, I'm glad you're able to be here today.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Can you help me tell, because they're down with the chair, can you ask them to move the chair FMS to move the chair all back so we can have the space ready for our fitness hour.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
What
much.
time is it going to be at?
3.
At 3.
They can do it now.
Okay, they can do
Give
it.
them more time.
Okay.
They won't be stressed out. We only have 1 hour.
They were all tweeting.
What?
The staff were all tweeting support for the event.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
great.
that's great. I love it.
What do you have after this?
I have a meeting at my office. It's an exit interview for somebody. It's quitting. I sit on the City Club of Portland board, and so she's quitting the City Club. And I'm technically the secretary, so I have to do her exit interview.
It's so few places actually do those.
Well, they just started them since I became secretary.
I don't think I've ever actually been.
Really? We do them religiously. I think. Like nobody would still do them exit. I think they're very helpful. They're very insightful.
They're very what?
Insightful. Even if they're bad, they're pretty insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does the leadership feel when they're
Bad. Yeah, I guess.
Welcome back, Southeast. This is Kenny, and you are listening to Multicultural Radio Hour if you just walked in. And today we have 2 guests at our radio hour. First one is Felisa from SEIU, Service Employee International Union. And second one is Jace from Women Resource Center. And today we are going to interview Felisa and about hearing her speech earlier, and you talk about you start your movement to fight for the right. In the beginning, to start with the burger, and can you tell us more about that? And if there's something students want to do in the future, what should they do?
Sure, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today, Kenny. I really appreciate being here. I think that it's always important to be part of movements that you feel passionate about. And if you look at any great progressive change that's happened in the history of the United States and often in the world, those activities have been led by students being part of a larger movement to make change. My first experience was working with the Farm Workers Union, who were organizing farm workers at NORPAC. And so one of the key strategies as part of that larger organizing campaign was a boycott of garden burgers at the University of Oregon. And so having students who can take progressive action was really important to those workers in winning their campaign. And I was very excited to be a part of that. And the advice I would give for students out there who are looking to become more active in their community is to find something that you're passionate about, that you care deeply about, and that you can be a part of the change.
So you mean they should find some organization or club they are interested to join the club first, like a panel around our campus?
Absolutely. I think if you're interested in the change and want to be connected, I would say the Multicultural Center is a great place to start, the Women's Center, Apano, any of those places who are willing to take on activities that are going to make change in your community, or and I think if there's something out there that you are passionate about that there isn't a club already in existence, you should find the resources and help pull one together. So every movement starts with you and a couple of friends.
So after, okay, Jessie?
Hi, this is Jess. Can I talk about the clubs a little bit? It's just such a good point. So folks know that any student can start a club through our student government, and every student here pays fees. And those fees are part of what supports the Queer Resource Center, the Women's Resource Center, the Multicultural Center. So echoing Felisa's point, there's 2 things to think about. One is that if there is programming that students would like to see happening at the centers that they pay for, we would like to support that in happening. So students can come talk to us about what they would like to see on campus. And we can help any student help start a club. So if students are confused about that process or need some support, we can talk to them. And it's actually really pretty straightforward, and you get money. So there's any student group that is organizing around an issue. For example, the group of students at the Women's Resource Center just started a Muslim women's group. And are going to be using those funds to go on trips and bring speakers and do service projects for the community here at PCC to increase support and visibility and equity issues for Muslim women students on campus. So we would love to talk to any students who would like to engage in organizing.
Yeah, that's great. And I heard we have the most club number in Southeast Campus this year, and that's marvelous. And so impressed that every one of our coordinators are try to like promote the club to find some passion of students and encourage them to start a club. So that's great. And you talk about you were afraid after you joined the movement, and are you going to afraid to lose everything, or what should students expect after they join a movement or start a movement?
Well, I think every movement is different. And I think that there is always sort of an inherent fear in trying something or doing something different that's outside of your comfort zone. But I think it's really important that if we're going to make change, that people have to move past that fear to take action. Because that's the only way that people can really make change in the world, is by being action-oriented and motivated. And so everyone is afraid of change. It's inevitable. But the people who I think lead in movements when it comes to women's issues, when it comes to civil rights issues, they were the people who could get past that fear.
That's great. And can you tell us a little bit more after you've been a student leader at the University of Oregon, and what do you learn from it?
I learned a lot of really amazing, great things at the University of Oregon and being an activist there. I learned how to make a plan. I learned how to engage with people from all different walks of life. I feel like learned sort of the conviction of the work that I currently do, and I would say that it created a really deep sense of fairness for me, and a deep sense of commitment to the community that I live in and that I work in. And I would say I learned so many things about my fellow mankind and how the commitment that I have to them comes back tenfold in my own life and my own experiences. And so putting good things out there and really being committed to other people is very rewarding.
Okay. Thank you very much. And do you want to share with us the second song you picked for us today?
This is really great. It's on topic with John Legend, Wake Up Everybody. It's all about getting involved and being an activist.
Let's hear about Wake Up and Everybody.
Radio natural.
Oh, thanks.
You do a lot of testifying.
Yeah.
That's its own skill set. I supported the advocate privilege bill, and I had never testified before, and it was really, I basically, even though I had the whole thing memorized, I blanked out, and I feel like I do a relative amount of public speaking. So I have a lot of respect for you all.
There's a level of judgment at the legislature that I think could throw people off.
It was
It's very unnerving for people. Usually when I have people come to because we try to have workers come and testify in the legislature, a lot of it is like sitting at the dais, like listening and sitting at the dais, like all of that, to just be like, this is what's gonna happen.
That's good.
So.
So I noticed you have Apple Watch as well.
I love my Apple Watch. I was an early adopter.
So it's your phone calls and your emails?
Yes.
And why is it better than a phone?
I'm a watch person. Like I've always had watches. Like so I figured I don't work with that. So see, this is why it's better.
I know. I understand. I understand.
Like,
yeah.
And I have a problem with that band because
This
it will
band?
catch your hair so easy.
Oh yeah.
So I return it and get another one.
Oh yeah.
But it's perfect.
I kind of did. I was really nervous when I bought it. I went to the store and was like, because I was like, what happens if this like flies out? I was like, I can't spend this much money on something this is gonna fly off my wrist. But it's good. Yeah.
And do you text on it, or is it just to track your...
I text on it. So it's
You
better
can
than Siri.
speak.
Yeah, you just speak into it. It's better than
And it will
Siri.
text for you.
In text. I answer calls now, which I'm gonna stop doing because it's obnoxious. But I do it anyway.
So just it's
Yeah.
like a big speakerphone.
It totally is. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally
Very
gets
secret
through.
service.
It's very
Yeah.
secret service. Yeah, it's very secret service. I don't do a lot of. Do you do the drawing text? Yeah, I don't
Have
do
you
that.
tried it?
No.
Do you want to try it? Do you have friend has Apple Watch? Because I tried it. It's fun and
Is it?
yeah, you will sure. Let's do it later.
Okay.
After radio on, and it's
You need to get me
Yeah.
on this. Yeah.
Okay, is our tech person.
and what do you think? Because next question I might ask you, because the technology like
Yeah.
advance every day, and what do you think technology will help about the label and about the movement we have,
Oh yeah.
and what do you
I
expect?
think it's already helping.
Mm-hmm. Facebook, you can
Yeah.
you can let a lot of people know. You
Yeah.
can so easy.
I think you can let a lot of people know events. I also think that you have access to people that you may not have direct connections with. Like we organize in-home care workers and our union, which I talked a little bit about. Well, there are 35,000 of them, and there's no central work site for them. So they're all spread across the state. And so technology has really been able for them to connect to each other in really meaningful ways and has done a lot for quality of care. So like for example, you can do a training in Bend, but have people sort of Skyping in from their computers all over Eastern Oregon to learn how to do things like dress a wound, right? And do wound care. So people who didn't have access to that before now can do that. That's huge. Not feeling so isolated that there's somebody else out there.
Even alone.
You should say all of that on there. Yeah. So, and I think, I mean, we've already seen in sort of, oppressive regimes how much technology has been very critical throughout the world. And, if that's Egypt, if that's Iran, if that's... It's
all.
really critical. China, Hong Kong is another critical.
Okay, welcome back, Southeast. This is Kenny, and we are broadcast in Multicultural Center, and you are listening to Multicultural Radio Hour. We have two guests today. One is Felisa from SEIU, and it represents Service Employee International Unit. And the other one is our guest in the past, Jess from Women Resource Center, and she is here to make Felisa feel more comfortable.
She does do that, Kenny. Thank you.
And as I know, you are a technology person, right?
I am.
And what do you see? And technology, it will help all the different civil rights movement in the future or in right now. What happened?
I think technology is a really critical part of connecting workers and connecting people who work in isolation. So a good example is we have home care workers. There are 35,000 of them throughout the state. Each of them work in their individual homes, and technology has helped us bring them together for different types of trainings to improve the quality of care that they're giving to their clients. It's also just helped them connect as people who have no centralized workplace, so they can come together and really engage in a way where they don't feel as isolated. And then, I also think a really important key part of technology too is not only for skill sharing, for lack of isolation, but we've seen technology come through all over the world. When it comes to repressive regimes, if that's in Egypt, that's Iran.
Yeah.
You know, I think for a younger generation, if you're a girl in rural Afghanistan, for you to be able to connect with a girl in rural Oregon in a meaningful way over the internet, I think that it opens your eyes to a whole set of opportunities that you may have never known that you had. And so I think technology is going to be a huge part of how the world changes in the future.
And also they need to learn how to protect themselves, right? And because internet is something that sometimes we hear those sad stories. Yeah. So beware and use the technology and protect yourself. Okay. So next, because you work at do you want to introduce what do you do in the SEIU?
I'm the political director at the Service Employees International Union, Local 49, and so my days vary pretty wildly. I'm a lobbyist. I know that most people think of a lobbyist, they think of somebody who lobbies for tobacco companies or pharmaceutical companies. I'm actually a lobbyist for workers, and so I work a lot on talking to legislators and elected leaders about improving workers' lives. I also work on elections. I help people run campaigns and get elected, and I do a lot of member education. So if that's voter registration, or how to fill out your ballot and vote, or what are the issues that affect the work that you do in your work site, I do a lot of that too.
Oh, that's interesting. And since you mentioned about like salary, their pay, and right now I hear two different voices about should we increase the minimum wage or not, because some worker some employer might feel, oh, I cannot hire so many if we increase the minimum wage. What do you think?
I'm a very strong proponent for increasing the minimum wage. I think that history has proven that we've seen productivity increase, and we've seen wages for working class people stay stagnant. So while the top 1% is getting richer and richer, we've seen this increasing gap. And part of closing that gap is going to be to increase the minimum wage. I know that increasing wages puts pressure on business. But there are businesses who are making billions of dollars in profit off of minimum wage workers, and it's time that those workers got their fair share of the pie. And the best way for the Oregon legislature to do that was to increase the minimum wage. I hope that the Washington state voters increase the minimum wage. It's going to be on their ballot next year. You live in Vancouver. Or in California, there's also going to be an initiative. And I think it's really critical that we really focus on spreading out assets, and that includes wealth.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good point. And hope everyone can support the minimum wage raise. And here is Jessie.
So I think it's also helpful to think about this conversation in the context of the other work that is being done at PCC around the commitment to using critical race theory in our decision-making process, and all of the work on equity and access that the student leaders at student government, at the Multicultural Center, and at the Women's Resource Center and Queer Resource Center do. So what I really appreciate about listening to Felisa today is the reminder that we can't end one kind of oppression without ending all kinds of oppression, right? So I appreciate the reminder that what people make for their jobs is connected to the issues of racism and sexism and classism that I know that the students at our centers talk a lot about and work a lot about. So it's a opportunity for me to think about how the theoretical issues that we have been working on apply to people's lives in a really everyday sense. And part of what we wanted to do this International Women's Day was look at what it means to have an intersectional social justice approach to this issue of supporting women. Right? So thank you so much for that reminder, Felisa.
Thank you very much. And since we talk about minimum wage, so would you like to tell us what do you think today student leaders need to know what is the working professional in the field of social justice activism.
Sure. I think that there's a lot of opportunities in the social justice movement in a variety of issues. I work for a labor union, but I think that that's one of many types of social justice that's going on around the world. And today, I was lucky enough to meet a lot of students who are here learning English as a second language, and just incredible that they would have that skill. So there are NGOs all over the world who would, I think, jump at the chance to have multilingual staff who can operate in two cultures and work to improve the lives of all kinds of different work. There's, I know that there's a queer resource center here. I just passed it on my way into the Great Hall. Also, huge issues around that work that's happening right now to end homophobia and sexism oppression. That's such a great work to go into. I know Jess's background is in domestic violence issues, and also another critical social justice issue in our culture. So there's a lot of opportunities out there, and I think the best way to probably kick that off, if you're a student at PCC, is again, just get involved with the clubs that are already happening on campus, make connections with people who do that work, and then take a risk when you leave college to get involved doing that. And there are all kinds of jobs. If you're majoring in accounting, go be an accountant for a domestic violence shelter.
That's right. And just a reminder, we will, SPCC, Women Resource Center, and Multicultural Center, Career Exploration Center, they will start hiring process for next year's student leaders. So if you are interested to be one part of the activity and the movement around campus, join, apply, any one of them, what is your interest? So that's a good opportunity to start your movement like Felisa, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you, how do you be a student leader help you to get a job after you graduate? Do you want to share with us?
Sure. After I graduated, I got a call actually from a gentleman who had been working as an activist who was running a campaign. And he called me. I'd been a student activist and worked with him, and I'd actually interned at the Oregon Student Association. And so he called me and said, hey, I know that you are detail-oriented, and can you come help out on this campaign? And so that's how I got my first job. I went and began working as a fundraiser, and ever since then, I've been involved in social justice movements.
Nice. But do you mind if I ask further? Because how do you let the gentleman know your number and you can go? How can students prepare themselves to be acknowledged and being waiting for the right call for their future?
Well, thanks. I feel like a little bit of a parrot here, so I'm going to say again, I really think it is being engaged now, and just meeting a bunch of different people, I think really helps to be part of the social justice movement. And I think volunteering on campaigns on campus, volunteering on campaigns off campus that you're passionate about, connecting with resources on campus, connecting with resources off campus. I think that when you are connected to the community that you want to be a part of is definitely how people really, you'll meet other people, you can get your resume out there in a really meaningful way, and it's the way that you're most likely to be connected to those communities when it's time for them to hire someone.
That's nice. So I think today the time is almost done, and we'd like to hear the last song you bring us. Do you want to introduce the song?
Absolutely. So this is a Tupac, Keep Your Head Up, which is very applicable not only to the minimum wage, because 60% of minimum wage workers are women, but also very applicable to International Women's Day.
Okay, let's hear about the keep your heads up.
Kenny makes this into a podcast.
I know, he was telling me this is awesome.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
honey. It's always a joy. Can I keep this so I can listen to this Dolly Parton song?
Oh yeah, I love that Dolly Parton song.
Do you mind if we can take a picture together?
Sure.
Do you mind
Can
if
we
you
take
can
it?
take
Yeah.
a picture for us?
This has been so fun. Well, great.
That's what we like to hear from our presenters.
Hold on, let me zoom in. He's so far away. Oh no, sorry, it went away from me.
It's okay.
It's okay.
That's the other thing you can do with your watch is you can set up your phone and take a picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
This is blowing me away.
You can use it as a remote for your TV.
Awesome, thank you.
Really? I didn't know you can remote
Yeah.
your TV here.
Yeah, so if you're like watching Netflix or something, you can
Oh,
remote it, yeah.
Netflix.
Oh, wow.